Hello, my name is Alan Bayliss and I'm the author of Level Editor for Unity. In this video I'd like to just discuss some of the points that didn't make it into the tutorials. The first thing to note is that on my terrain I've set the terrain about 5mm below 0 on the y-axis, so it's set to negative 0.005. And this prevents the lines from disappearing when we're creating them. If the terrain and the lines are at the same height, they may not be visible. The second thing I wanted to point out was that when I'm creating the lines, I'm actually clicking once and then releasing the mouse button. So if you're clicking and holding the mouse button down and you don't see the line extend with the mouse, then that's why. Just click once and then release, and then the same for the endpoint, just click once and release. And the third thing I wanted to mention is that the closer you are to the pivot point here when you're creating your models, the more accurate the math is, the floating point math. And if I load up my demo building here, you'll notice that these curved faces here look correct and there's no gaps between the faces. So if I move out and move it far away from the pivot point, and I'm just waiting for that to update, and I'll also move it just a little bit further out, so we're far away from the pivot point now. And you'll notice that we're starting to see some problems here. This face is not rendered correctly and we can see a gap between the faces here. One way to fix this is to move the pivot point closer to the model. You can actually put it anywhere in the world, and I'm just going to move it there, and I'm just going to update the building by moving it slightly. Wait for that to update, and if we go back in, you'll notice that when the building is close to the origin, that we no longer have the problem with the faces having gaps between them. I'll just clear those and bring the pivot point back to the origin. And lastly, I wanted to mention that, and I find that the fastest way to move the camera in the scene is to hold down the right mouse button and use the WASD keys to navigate. Also, if I want to zoom in, I use the mouse wheel, and I've adjusted the mouse wheel when this program is open to do a fast scroll when the shift key is down and do a slow scroll when the hotkey is down. So you have those options. You can also turn this off in the settings if you prefer the Unity mouse wheel. And I just wanted to point out those few things before you get into the tutorials. I hope that helps you get started with Level Editor without any problems. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.